This show is sponsored by Clinstone, kitchen and bathroom specialists. Welcome to Hi Chai. Joining me today, I have Gillie Varsani. You'll know him from Mrs. Kapoor's daughter's wedding, or from Sunrise Radio, and from just generally being super active on social media. Today we're going to talk about love, because I think you find love and then sometimes you lose love. And when you lose love, it can really take you to the edge. And Gillie's been through so much in the last year, and he's been so open about it, and I'm really honoured to welcome him to have Hi Chai with me today.
Thank you, Zam, for having me on.
That's a pleasure. How are you?
I'm good. You keeping well?
I'm keeping very well, thank you. So I'm just going to dive straight in.
Yeah.
Because we don't have long, and I love where you are now, but I don't love where you've been.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people probably have been there, because I think when we find that love of our life and the relationship breaks down, we are totally at a loss. Would you like to tell me what happened?
Yeah, sure. So it's like a general sort of story, you know, when you think you found that perfect person, and you assume most of the time that, you know, you're falling in love. For me, I thought that this is the one. Like, I thought, like, I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. I was happy to introduce it to my family. Like, a lot happened so quick and stuff. So for me, I'd made that choice that, yep, I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. Then, you know, for some reasons, things don't work out. So for us, this is exactly what happened. So the initial breakup happened and stuff. For me, I just couldn't accept it.
Were you surprised? Like, did it come out of the blue? Or?
Yeah. So for me, it was just like, why? Like, where did this come from? What, like, can we not work on it? Can we not do this? Can we not do that? But it just ended, right? So at the initial time, I couldn't find any reason of like why. I just couldn't accept it. So because I'd put so much into the relationship, and because I'd almost given my whole heart away, when it all broke up and stuff, for me, it was just like, I thought my life had ended.
Did you you weren't expecting it, I know, but did you speak to her afterwards, and did you find the reasons that you were looking for, or were you kind of more full of self-doubt? And how were you feeling at that time in terms of closure? Did you get any?
No. So for me, more so, right, it was almost like I then started questioning myself. Like, what is it about me? What have I done? Could I have done anything more different? And that's the problem. Once you get into that cycle, that's when psychologically it just messed with my head. So for me, like, as you know, I had so much stuff going on. I had Mrs. Kapoor's daughter's wedding going on. I had my own, you know, work-life balance, because I've got my own business as well. So when it all kicked off at the time, emotionally, it just destroyed me. So, you know, I opened up about it in last September. But once the breakup itself happened, a month later, I pretty much was ready to take my life.
Wow.
Psychologically, that's how confused I got, and I hid it from the world.
So from the outside looking in, I came to see the play. I see you out and about occasionally. I would never have known, because you have such like a big social circle. You're always so chatty and active. You had this great production. You were getting accolades and fans, and you were living this life that most people would dream of. You had, you know, you had a stage. You had people around you all the time, fun, young people. Well, how? Like, literally how?
So at the time, it was almost like, I don't want to disappoint people with my problems. And I guess at the time I was scared about opening up what I was going through and stuff, purely because I know how close I am to my family and that. And I didn't want to ever show off that side to my family, that I'm going through so much and that I was willing to take my life away and stuff. You know, I've got two amazing nieces and nephews and stuff. And for them, I would never want them to ever know that this is the stage I got to in life where I was ready to end it, sort of thing. So for me, it was like I would always put on a mask when I would go out the house. The moment I leave my room, everyone would think I was just Gilly. The problems happened when I was behind closed doors.
So what happened when you were behind closed doors? Like,
insomnia kicks in. I literally start questioning everything about my day, about what happened in the past. I would literally walk into my room. The moment that door shuts, I jump back into why. That question of why. And I questioned everything to a stage where I was doubting everyone in my life. I was doubting myself. I just wasn't in the right place. So then this then had an effect of when I walk out my room, secretly, before I go on stage and stuff, I would go to my dressing room and cry. Emotionally, I would literally just fall into tears before I go on stage and stuff. Before I start my day at work, sometimes I'll just pull over. If I'm going to a meeting, I'll pull over and I'll break down, just cry.
And what triggered you to cry? Like, what specifically, what took you to that edge of tears? Because it's unusual.
For me, it was, like I said, I thought I'd had everything. So, I was lucky to go back into my acting career, which I love doing. I had a successful business running, and then I had great family and friends in my life. And then the last element was my love life. And when I thought I'd found it, I just thought, that's it, my life's complete now. So when a strong element like that gets taken away from you, everything around you starts falling. It's almost like it's like a bound circle. And when there's a break in the line, that whole circle just falls apart. And that's exactly what happened to me. It was only when because I didn't seek any help, because I was more ashamed, I was more shy.
See, that's a really big thing. I mean, the stigma in the community around mental health, around depression and suicidal thoughts and everything, it's huge, and it's not just about you, then it becomes about your family.
Yeah.
So how did you kind of deal with it without talking to anyone? How do you think your family would have felt? Like, what?
So for me, it was, I done it all my own. So basically, after my shows had finished in September, I remember going to sleep that night, and again, I broke down into tears. I was like, this is not the life I want to live. And I said to myself that when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to do something. I don't know what. I didn't have any plans. I didn't have any plans to talk to anyone. I'm going to do something. And that's exactly what happened. So woke up in the morning and I literally just grabbed my phone. I didn't brush my teeth. I didn't shower. I literally looked a wreck. But I picked up my phone, put it onto my selfie camera, and I just made a video. I spoke my heart out. Nothing, it wasn't even pre-planned, nothing. I just spoke. It was about a 12-minute video. And then bravely, I posted it on my Facebook. I didn't watch that video until a week later. And the only reason I watched it is because of the feedback I got and the people that turned to me through just watching my video.
So I saw the video and you were broken. And before that, you had actually gone to a train station, hadn't you?
Yeah.
Could you take me there?
Yeah, so like I said, so the month after my breakup, I'd basically got myself, I walked down to my local train station. This was where I was prepared to basically end my day. I was on the platform for about 45 minutes, watching trains go past. My phone was constantly going off. I just wasn't answering it. And I remember it's a memory I'll never forget. And for anyone that's listening, this was the realest you can ever get. So I looked at the board and it said the train was coming in 2 minutes time. I'd made my choice that's it. When the next train comes, I was willing to now make that jump. A minute, the board changed to a minute. And I remember seeing the train come from around the corner. As the train was coming, my phone rang and it was my niece. And she literally said, I want to come and see you, and I'm going to come around if you're going to be at home. And that instant, I hanged up and I snapped out. And just as I snapped out, that train just went straight past me. And I realized that I can't just end my life. I've got too many people looking down on me, or looking up to me, sorry. I walked home, I was a wreck. I remember walking home, I was crying. Got home, went straight to my room. My mum didn't know anything either of what was going on. And my niece came around after school that day, and I just gave her the biggest hug. And I just broke down. I was like, had I done what I'd done, what would this little girl have said? What my nephew had said? And I didn't go ahead with it.
I'm so glad that you did.
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah.
It's really brave of you to talk about it, because I think if you've never been in that position, nobody knows what it's like. If you are in that position, then people, can understand. But it's so hard to understand somebody who's got their whole lives. You talked about your circle and your work and your family and your friends, and the love missing impacts all of that. And it's like, I just wanted to scream at you that you've got all these amazing things that people don't have, and that one element, it's not gone forever.
No, of course not.
But I know that you feel like that at the time, right? That it's so hard to lose somebody that you love and a life that you were looking forward to. I get that. I think everybody gets that.
Yeah, 100%. For me, it was the biggest. It was only after, like I said, once I made my video and everything, that it was just almost like it's like a pressure cooker, where once I made that video, I can't tell you how relieved I felt, right? And at the same time, it was I was relieved, but the amount of people that reached out to me, right, made me realize I'm not alone in this.
No.
There's so many people going through similar, or if not worse, problems in their life, right? Because love's an element of, you can find love again. It's not like it's just a one-off thing, right? But at the time, I almost told myself, no, that's it. No more love. But that's not true. But what the most powerful thing I found was by just me reaching out to and letting people know my story, was the people that reached out to me afterwards. Zam, if I told you, honestly, I could probably say between 60 to 100 people reached out to me about their stories, just to talk, not to ask for any help. They just wanted someone to listen to them. And I did that. People I didn't even know were just calling me on, through Facebook Messenger, through just finding my number on social media. They were ringing me, and I answered every single call, and I just sat there and I listened to them.
That's just so giving of you as well, and I guess if you'd known that people like that were out there for yourself, then
I would have opened up a lot more earlier. And that was the time when I finally opened up to my family.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to ask you. So there's so much stigma about this kind of stuff with families, especially in our community. What were you scared when, after you posted the video? Did you think, what are the consequences of my family? Did it come into your head?
Yeah, so obviously then my brother and sister, because my mum's not obviously on social media, nor is my dad. So my brother and sister obviously realised, oh my God, what's he actually been going through? So we all sat down as a family, and I just opened up and told them everything afterwards. And honestly, they were more upset that I didn't come to them earlier, because they would have given me so much more support and stuff. They would have understood and trying to help me go through what I was going through. Because I think that's where I've learned a lot about mental health, is the moment you kind of hold things to yourself, you automatically forget who your mind belongs to. And it all comes down to it. Your mind is yours.
That's right.
So the only person that can control it is yourself. When you're in that sort of mindset, you just need positive people around you to kind of get you back into reality of getting control of your mind.
We are going to continue this conversation because I think that's a really important thing. So we'll join, you'll join us after the break.
This show is sponsored by Clinstone, kitchen and bathroom specialists. This show is sponsored by Clinstone, kitchen and bathroom specialists.
Welcome back. So we're here with Gilly, and he's just talked about being on the edge of a platform, ready to take his own life, and coming back and facing his family after going public with some really deep mental health issues and suicidal thoughts that he'd been facing. And it's a really big, brave thing to do it publicly. And I think it's even braver to talk about it with your family, because they're the people in your life daily. What are your family like? Are they quite religious?
Yeah, so mom and dad are obviously very religious. They come from, they're both born in India, so they come from a very traditional background, should we say.
Yeah.
So for them, it's like any sort of taboo subjects, especially within the Asian community, about, especially Guy of my age, getting mental health. For them, it's just, my mom found it pretty difficult to understand the topic as well, of what is mental health, like how can someone so young, so vibrant, so active in life, fall into such a almost trance of this sort of nature. So at the time, she found it very tough to understand what it was I was going through. But with the amount of education and awareness that's out there, the funny thing, at the time when I came out with my story and told my family, our community, so I'm part of the SKLP community, they brought out a whole seminar about mental health, which they had like Gujarati speaking people there. So we took my mum, my brother, sister came with me as well, myself went, and my mum was able to get a more understanding of what is mental health as an overall, but what is mental health within our Asian, as we call it, Gachi community. So for her, at first it was hard to understand, but once we educated her more and she started understanding what it actually is, she came to like kind of ground of even supporting me as well.
So it took you to do this for education, to be in the community. Do you think generally that there's enough out there? What would you like to see?
Personally, I don't think there's not enough out there. It's all well and good putting an advert out, Mental Health Awareness Week, putting out inspirational quotes and stuff, or bringing out inspirational videos. But is that really enough? No, because the seminar which my mom went, obviously we took my mom to, was brilliant, because they had a niche market in terms of talking Gujarati to the Asian community, and to actually see how much my mom understood was a brilliant concept. But in all honesty, it's not happened since. We had that one seminar, and that's basically it.
Your mum had obviously met your ex-girlfriend. Had she met your previous girlfriends?
Not really, no.
So this was like a big deal.
Yeah, definitely. So in terms of, which is why I thought more so that this is the one, was because I was comfortable in terms of introducing her to my mum, introducing her to my whole family, my whole friend circle. It's not something I've done a lot in the past with my past exes and stuff, where I've openly introduced them to my family and stuff. So this was a first, hence why it was a lot more harder.
And so having met her, did she understand more, or how did your family, when you sat down and talked to them, how did they kind of associate this? Did you tell them it was about her?
In terms of my mental state?
What kind of took you to that?
Yeah. So initially, I'd obviously spoken to them that I'd been in this state ever since I'd gone through a breakup in that. So for me to be in that state of mind I'm in right now is purely because of that. And then I just found it hard to get back onto my feet.
And what do you think it would have been different if you'd spoken to them first? Do you think you would have gone public, or do you think they would have not let you go public, or would it not have mattered what they said?
Going public, I think more so wasn't just because for my family's state or because of my state. I think it was more so as well. I want to raise awareness about, there's a lot of, like influencers out there. There's a lot of people who do a lot of stuff on social media, actors, singers, dancers, like even entrepreneurs and stuff. And everyone feels ashamed that they have to live this masked life. And what I try to portray in my video was that you don't need to live that sort of life where you want to try and hide things, or you should try and show off that you're perfectly fine and life is hunky-dory, because it's not. Life's full of challenges, whether it's mentally, whether it's physically. Life isn't an easy race, and no one should be out there showing that their life is so perfect, because everyone knows there is no such thing as a perfect life. If anything, life should be full of challenges, because it's constantly testing your mind, right? If you don't test your mind, it's not going to develop you as a stronger person or anything like that. And for me, I think it's made the person I am today. I would never have been this person I'm right now, sitting here talking about this, had I not gone through my difficult times.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I was lucky that God gave me an angel, which was my niece.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? That I'm able to sit here right now and talk about my success and be able to now say that I'm living my best life right now. And
how did you put that love aspect, how did you lay it to rest? Because just because you didn't go through with it doesn't mean that pain's gone. It's still there, right? Or it was still there.
It was still there.
And you have to go through a process to deal with it.
So for me, everyone's going to have a different thing, I think, in terms of how to deal with things, right? For me, it was almost, I needed to take a break from life. So after my shows had finished and everything, I went to India for almost 2 months, where I just took a break away from work, which I was lucky because I had a great team. I got a great business partner who supported it as well. All my friends and family supported it. And I went away just to clear my head. And India was perfect for me, because I've always loved India for its culture, for being able to just enjoy the simple things in life. So small things like going to the streets and just having a fresh coconut made me just realize how much you can appreciate life. So when I was out there, I took the book Secret. Mm-hmm. So if you haven't read it, it's an amazing book, right? It is an amazing book, yeah. So once I finished reading it and I'd finally cleared my head, was basically I found myself again. The message I wrote in a book from everything I'd gone through was, you can't dwell on something that's not meant to be.
No.
You need to focus on something that is meant to be to only progress in your life. And I made that up it came into my head just after I finished reading the book and stuff. If I said to you, once I came back from holiday and January came, from January to now, I've had the most incredible stuff forward for me. I've got a job obviously with Sunrise Radio. My business is booming now. I've got great stuff going on with my social medias, my new video content I'm bringing out. Like, I'm happy. I'm able to smile. I'm able to be myself. I go to sleep happy. I wake up happy. Yeah, I have challenges as well still. Of course, you're always going to have that. But I'm in a stage of my life now, honestly, I'm not fussed if I don't find love or anything like that. I've accepted that if I'm going to find it, it will come to me. I'm not going out there physically looking for it.
So with The Secret, are you manifesting love at all? Or have you got your list, or have you done any secret love stuff?
Nah. So if anything at the moment, I'm just now, like I said, I'm focusing on myself a lot more. I'm keeping the people that were also there for me through my tough times in my mind. I'm like around me. I'm surrounding myself with a lot of positivity. So another book I just recently read was Good Vibes, Good Life, Lex King. And one of the things he talks about in his book is about having high vibrations around you. Because the moment you have people with low vibrations and low self-esteem around you and stuff, it brings you down as a person. But what I've learned to do is not allow negativity to get into my life. If I do, I turn it into positivity straight away. Whether that means helping a person that's going through a tough time, I will, because I know what I've been through, I happily will always give my time to people that need my help now.
So how do you recognize when somebody's going through a tough time? Because people might be like you were before, that everything's internalized, you keep it inside and it's killing you on the inside, but on the outside you don't want anyone to know. And so you're still this happy, shiny person to the outside world. But what are the telltale signs, do you think?
So the most obvious ones, especially when I spend time with my friends and family, is I always ask everyone, first of all, how are you doing? Simple as that, right? From that, it's just as simple, because a person that's going through a tough time loves to hear someone ask them how they are. I know I did. So I know from talking to quite a lot of people, they just want to know people are there. And another thing which I always look out for is changing characters. So I always question the people that are trigger happy in my life. People that are just constantly just over the moon, or just always just bouncing around, happy-go-lucky. Those are the people I'll turn to and be like, is everything okay? Right?
Oh, interesting.
Because, like I said, I know I was doing that. I was still making funny videos while I was going through my sort of tough time. I was still being Mr. Kapoor on the stage and stuff like that. And people were none the wiser that there was something wrong with me. But if someone had clocked on earlier, if they had actually turned to me and said, Gilly, what's wrong? I most likely would have opened up.
Yeah. And I guess subtle changes in their habits as well, like going out, coming in.
A common one, especially with social anxiety, with one of the things I was going through, was I would be one of the last people to be at a place, so at a social gathering. I'll turn up late and leave early as well.
Yeah.
I didn't know at the time I was doing this until someone said to me, why do you constantly always turn up late and why do you leave early? So those are another characteristics of me being around people. So if you see someone close to you that's doing that, where you feel like they just don't want to be around they don't like being outside, those are the people you need to ask and see what is going on.
Yeah. Do you think that you now have the resources to deal with any, if you had, obviously don't wish this on you, but if you had another major knockback or anything, how do you think you'll deal with it differently?
100%. I've got to a stage in my life now where I know how to use my mind. So always the question I say to people is, end of the day, your mind is yours, right? Only you can control it. So how can you lose control of something that belongs to you? Which is true, right? So all I said to myself is, if anything like this ever happens again, the most simplest thing I'm going to always do is just talk. The last thing you want to do is, when you've got a mental health issue of any sort, because remember, there's thousands of mental health issues out there. But if you have any sort of mental health issue, the main thing you need to do is just talk, right? And the most important people you need to open up to is your family, more than anything. Because no matter what life gives you, they will always be there, no matter what.
Yeah, that love is unconditional.
Of course it is, of course.
Yeah. And they will put up with anything. I think we get so scared of disappointing them sometimes, so, you know, but I think really we're probably disappointing them when we don't talk to them.
Exactly.
But they don't know that.
No.
Because we're not talking.
Exactly. And they will always be the first person to be like, just why didn't you come to us? Because they're never going to doubt you. They're never going to do anything. If anything, they're just going to be those open ears for you and open their arms to give you that big hug that you want.
Yeah. And I think I don't know, there's this film that I watch and I always think about it when you need to do something difficult, is that 5 seconds of courage.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's you can psych yourself up so much that you talk yourself out of having those conversations. And no matter what it is in life, even if you're asking for a raise or asking a girl out or going to talk to your family about something difficult.
100%.
Whatever it is, you just need to dig deep for 5 seconds.
Yeah, 100%. And it's one of the things I encourage people is, if you've got a gut feeling of something, whether your mind's telling you no, do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? For me, you know, I took that initiative initially of just waking up and just making a video. Everyone's so about putting their hair together, looking fresh, wearing nice clothes. My message wasn't about how I look. My message was about everything I was going through. Hence why I just took my gut instinct and did it. And look what it turned into. I helped so many people as well at the same time.
And I think that's when social media is actually so positive.
Yeah.
When you're real and you're authentic and you're able to touch people's hearts.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you look like.
No.
It doesn't matter if you brushed your teeth.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
The message is still the same message, isn't it?
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. So, I mean, what's next for you now?
Honestly, it's running with what I'm going through right now.
Yeah.
Like you've probably seen and heard, I love being on radio. I love now the way my business is growing. So between me and my business partner, we've built a great foundation for our company. I love still making my Instagram videos, going live on Instagram and stuff. So if right now, I just want to keep living this life.
That's amazing. And what are you going to do in the mental health space now? Have you had any thoughts about what we can do as a community or you personally to help people? What do you want to champion now?
So I've always said, a lot of people have turned to me about helping them out in terms of raising awareness and stuff. I'm a true advocate of that. And I think as influencers out there as well, if people want to get involved in it, I think people should, especially if you're a big influencer, do something on mental health, because you've already got a big following, and all it is now is just spreading that message. It'll take you half a day to make a decent video about what you believe mental health is. I think by putting everyone's perspectives and ideas together, we can raise awareness without fail, I think.
I think even if you're a micro influencer, even if you've got a small community, I think I would imagine you've probably saved a few lives just by.
So obviously no names mentioned, but as I mentioned, a lot of people turned to me when they're watching my video and stuff, and a couple of people actually physically said that by them watching my video, I've saved their life basically. They were at a really bad stage where they were going to literally do what I wanted to do, end it. But they changed their ways because they realised they're not alone.
Gilly, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm
Thank you very much.
Thrilled to see where you are at today. And I still think that it's so brave and inspirational for you to share your story. So I really appreciate it.
No problem at all.
And thank you everybody for joining us. I hope that we're not shy to talk about mental health. We're not shy to help people. We're not shy to put our stories out there, because you don't know how it can impact somebody else. And just by you asking how somebody is, you don't know how you can impact them. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time on Hi Chai.
This show is sponsored by Clintstone, kitchen and bathroom specialists.